not attempt to adjust the picture. We are now controlling the transmission. We control the horizontal and the vertical. We can delude you with 1,000 channels or expand one single image to crystal clarity and beyond. We can shape your vision to anything our imagination can conceive. We will control all that you see and hear. You are about to experience the awe and mystery which reaches from the deepest inner mind to the outer limits.
Earth, Wind, and Fire. Woo! Look at y'all all in the back of the field. Look at y'all. That was just too much fun for one night. Y'all want some more of that? Well, let me see. Y'all gonna give them some more? I think they gonna do it.
You gonna see why we do it?
I'm staying up here. I'm with y'all.
All right, cheerleaders.
All right, I'm up to the front.
What you want to say?
You know, I want something slow. You know what? See, Earth, Wind, and Fire slow song.
Blessed are the children. Praise the teacher that bring true love to midnight. Your devotion opens all life's treasures, yeah. And deliverance from the fruits of evil. So our mission to bring a melody, to bring a melody, bring voices, sweet harmony. Heart is a song to make your day brighter. Heart, one that relaxes you long through troubled days. To pride, yeah, all of the dark in the cold, in the way, in the devotion, bless the children. What about the babies? Come on, come on. From the fruits of evil. From the fruits of evil. Yeah. You need to watch out. Bless the children. Just thinking about love tonight, yeah. Y'all gotta help us out on this one. Everybody in the house, come on. We want y'all to clap your hands this evening. Come on, come on. Said it's alright. Clap your hands this evening. Yeah, yeah. I said it's alright. Come on, y'all. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sing out for love today. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just a little bit loud, y'all. Come on. Woo. Yeah, yeah. In your homes, y'all can sing too. Come on. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Come on. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, all right.
Bless the children, meeting them from the river. Hey, family, welcome. Welcome. I wanted to come live today to talk about more in depth our spiritual turmoil, our situation of being separated from everything that would make us whole as a spiritual experience. Spiritual beings experiencing a physical existence of self-consciousness, self-awareness, because we are greatness that decided to come, that chose to come and experience this life in a whole different way of knowing and being aware of self actually in the experience. And first, I want to dig into some things that have been considered, some things such as the word anti-Semitism or anti-Semitic. Now, we Black folks, or African Americans, or Nubians, or Indians, or Negro, or what be it, we are Semitic. So when people call us anti-Semitic, because we speak against a Caucasian that adopted its identity and who has been behind the root of much of our suffering in America. But it's been hidden, not only just in America, but all over the planet. That in itself is pure way of them exercising or being freely able to show their hate and discontent with our group of people. It's by hollering at us anti-Semitic or anti-Semitism, when it has nothing to do with the people and what they have suffered under the hands of their own. You know, never in history have you heard of a group of Black people that tortured a group of Black people. Black, because we don't be Black. But since we have the word there, I'm going to put quotes around it because words are spells. And I want to be very conscious and aware of that because that's what I'm here doing, fighting spells, fighting mishandled magic. Because we are the only ones with the magic. But because of our gentle, kind hearts, we are used, we allow ourselves to be used to benefit others. Oh, it's hot in here, y'all. It's hot outside, y'all. The heat is coming up. So, with that said, I got a lot to get into tonight. We're going to do mathematical equations and science. We are going to look at these things in depth because the reason why I'm looking at these things in depth because it's very, very critical now. Because right now, cursed or we're inherently have something in us that is we have something in us that is not righteous, but everything about us is pure righteousness. And as long as you hold that thought as a Nubian being, a being of light, then you cannot be the magic for self, but you will remain and continue to be magic for those things outside of self. And that's why it's very critical that you take back your power, take back your experience on this planet. So, in Testament, what's Semitic is a group of people, they said, that was from the African continent, that whole landmass, even Europe is Africa. I would say the whole planet is Africa, if you really want to really just see it for what it really truly is. But because a certain group of people always cut things, split things up, and make us think in our minds, everything's in fragments, everything's fragmented. So when we think of the planet, we think of it in fragments, that it's cut off, a lot of borders, things like that. Separation. But they say it's hostility to prejudice or discrimination against Jews. A person who holds such a position is called an okay. But they go on to say that these Khazars or Caucasians, pretty much a sect of Caucasians, pretty much just adopted the ideology. So when they adopted this ideology, they make us think, the ones who are not informed or not educated or not aware of anything, any of that history, we will think and support them in the anti-Semitism ideology, which does not exist because they are anti-Semitic in being anti-Semitic. And not even considering ever anyone else. They're just being themselves. See, they took a country wiped out everybody that was there, who never took ownership or never prevented anybody else from coming in. But that's the obvious, that's the MO, that's the evidence, actions that have been taken throughout the planet. So once that happened, of course, the war, rumors of war, and my grandfather fought in World War II, so they have to have a war to accomplish what they want to accomplish on this planet, and we can make that you can make that a 1 and then a negative war. We'll put that a 1 for war and negative, because war always takes away. It takes away life. It takes away people's livelihoods, people's peace of mind. It takes away from people, from those with the ability to connect to their higher selves. It does a lot of damage. Let's just put it that way. For one's selfish need. And it's very critical that we understand that the whole society that we live in is now become very, very about just the self. And in the picture, I wish I kept that picture. Let me see. In that picture that I have, the self, when it's the world conscious of the relates to environment, body, okay, and self, psychology. Okay, so body, when you're just a body, you're just concerned for the environment, your environment, and self, psychology. And what's it? The psychological self-consciousness, but it's just with the body, world consciousness. Kind of like animals have a body, animals have a spirit. Animals, but what you got to separate the understanding of what a spirit is, the ba and the ka. The ba and the ka. The spirit can, it's more like, it does have emotions, it does have those things, but it lacks in, it's stuck at a level where it can't move forward like Nubians move forward. I say Nubians because we're the only example on the planet of, or we would have been if the things that have happened to us and the things that were taught to us, which is the wickedness, have been taught to the children, and the ways of the wicked have been embedded in our people. So if it wasn't for that, we would have been the only prime example of the perfect righteousness, the God consciousness, because we still in a way are, but we have been brought down to a level, and we have been shown and taught some wickedness, some horrible ways of existence, that we have been cut off from ourselves. We have been cut off from who we truly are. We were prevented from knowing this knowledge of who we truly are and understanding how important it is to connect with that in relationship to the whole. If we cannot connect to that in relationship with the whole, then the world as we see it is concerned about environment and self. That's what we get. That's what we're left with. We're left with hell. But when we connect, which they never want us to because it would mean the end of their world. But right now, the reason why we don't connect is because we have no foundation. That's important. That was the most important thing. Lack of foundation. The lack of foundation. Mm-hmm. We can be successful. That's what I wanted to say. Some of what we discussed the other day in the video. We can be successful, but who gave us the left? Who gave us the knowledge? What foundation are we on as a people? We're on a weak foundation. And I want to get into that because that's where the mathematics equation comes in, us being on a weak foundation of nothing. And this can be proven mathematically. Because understanding, let me go through this. Understanding that only 9 numbers exist. Only 9 numbers exist. 0 to 9. And then 0 starts over again. That 0 represents us. 0 because we are infinity. We are the God particle. Okay. So the rest of the numbers are in connection with us, within infinity, with the God particle. So they hold energy. Hey, Heru Apocalypse, welcome. They hold energy 1 through 9, and the zeros represent the whole, represents us, infinity, God. Okay, 9 numbers only 9 numbers exist. So we can make that 9 plus 9 plus and 0. We get 18 equals 18. So it is a true statement. Okay, saying that we have 9 numbers is understanding that the symbols or letters are only 9 symbols or 9 letters existent that work as basis for creating more when they created more symbols. But in understanding that, and then we can look at the foundation that our ancients gave us, the foundation that our ancient ancestors, extraterrestrial ancestors, left on the planet for us as guides to go by. Are you referring to the map of how much physical being you are as opposed to spiritual being? No, Haru, I'm not doing it in that way. I'm doing it in the showing. I'm pretty much focusing on showing what they think is, okay, we were put in slavery, right? We've had all these hard things done to us, and we have not once did any hard things back to people. So I'm trying to get them to see that it's not anything we did. It's not that, but in a way we are, well, it's not anything we really did to bring this about, basically. So when people blame and make us look like we're the worst group of people on the planet, Nubian people, Black people, or Black people is what they call us. So we're not so Black as they say, because common sense would tell them, they would know, they know that our foundation was knocked from underneath of us. And there's a mathematical equation that proves my statement that I'm making, and proves the statement is true, it's factual, it's true, that without the foundation, we cannot succeed. We cannot be our greatest. Like I was saying, when I was in college, I made straight A's. Without a foundation, I was wobbling. I was unbalanced. I was not always on the dean's list. I would be on the dean's list one semester, and the next semester would be a struggle, or, it was just an imbalance due to not having a solid foundation. And the foundation is what was left here for us to stand upon as a people. Haru Apocalypse said, I think that is an assignment and a half as to how we Black people haven't turned this planet upside down yet. Yeah, because we don't have what they have in them. We have something more. And understanding that you have something more is critical to turning this place upside down. If we don't grasp a hold of the power within, then it's hard to turn something upside down when you're just engaging with it and you're continuing to lend it your energy, your power, and it's not right. It's just not. It's about the most unjust thing to me. Very unjust, and justice needs to be done. Things need to be justified. We need justice. We need balance. We need mods. And they cannot stand on that. If they could stand on it, they would have stood on it. But I hear their Greek philosophers, I hear their ancients, their ancestors, they don't speak any of this. They speak about self, only the body, physical things, only physical things, that they don't speak any of this. They don't connect to it. So we already know they don't connect to this. So their foundation that they have taught us is a zero. It's zero. It's nothing. It's nothing, because we see in society with the government they set up, how they run it, everything is just a big fat zero. We're going to put a zero for that. This is a different equation, of course. So zero foundation is zero, because we all know that when you do a zero, you can plus it or you can subtract it. You're still going to get a zero. Yeah, and I'm going to get into that. I'm going to really get into that, because they're not empty. They just are vessels for other entities to come in and out of. So they're not necessarily empty. They just have possession issues. They just have other entities. They have egos. That's what I wanted to sum it up to be. They believe that the soul has to be protected. So basically, before I go into the soul and how they think of the soul, we're going to say that 9 plus 9 equals 18. And then we're going to say, of course, that 9 is the 9 numbers and the 9 letters, which is the foundation of the truth of the world. Because numbers and letters are what we go by. It's energies. And then the words are spells. And we're breaking that for our people, for ourselves. And so N plus L, N, 9N, and then plus 9L equals 18. And then we're going to say that no foundation, 0 equals 0, because that's what you get. That's the other equation. So, and they're both true. That's how you know it's true. That's how you know it's true. It's factual. And then, like I said, the lack of foundation makes us wobbly. We don't have no balance. We don't have anything to guide by. Caucasians have guided our society, have guided our minds, have guided our bodies, and have guided we haven't been listening to our souls. So God, like I said in my other video, the white Caucasian man, God, is responsible as far as that's concerned, because he molded everything, and with the help of a female, he molded the male and the female Caucasian molded this society that we have. But yet, it's projected upon us as a people that we're somehow inherently that, when they inherently took themselves and made the decision, made choices to harm others, slaughter children and women, and yes, they are. They're trying to get inside spirituality. And that's what I was thinking. Hey, welcome, King Wade. And that's what I was thinking the other day when I said the Pope was taking a lot of our artifacts, ancient artifacts, and they put them out in Rome. And but they tell us through scriptures that all that is wickedness and don't bother with that. But it's our stuff. It's who we are. It's our connection. So everything's our connection. Math, science, all these things. So They wiped our foundation from under us. So we're wobbly in our stance, but we're extraterrestrial in our existence. So that means that when we get to a point overloaded, if we're not so consumed with the physical, then we can find our way to the spiritual. We can connect somehow with the spiritual. It may not be where we're trying, because it may be where we're lost, and it comes and makes itself aware. It makes us aware again of self. You see, it can happen like that. Soul does not have to be protected. The soul is protected in this body that we're in. So, but they think the soul needs to be protected. That's why they lack the soul, and they have other things that come in place of what they lack. They like. I wish I could show the video, but there's a woman. There's a female. Let's see, with 250,000 personalities, egos, because we know personalities is egos. So she has all of these egos in her. And it so happens that none of them are Black. All of them are Caucasian. So that, you see, when we look at things and we see, it's like our questions, our answers, the answers is there for us. So it's weird. They're either male or female, but they are not Black, you know? So yes, the soul protects us from fault or life living mistakes by allowing us the ability of foresight. Not only the ability of foresight, but the communication that we get, the download we get that from the communication, and we're not alone. We're not alone. It's not like we're talking to egos, like the little Rob Lowe is in me. So Rob Lowe takes over, and he's got this big strong. He's going to, protecting me. Or Jimmy the what can I say? Jimmy the heavyweight boxer. I don't have that in me. If something traumatizes me, which I've been traumatized in my life, if something traumatizes me, it's usually that soul that is there unknowingly to me that is at work. I don't need to protect it. It protects me. A lot of our people have been disconnected from their souls, but that doesn't mean that you cannot reconnect. It's almost like, okay, Harold, it's almost like as long as they keep us inside this crystallization, a kind of prison or prism, if you will, our imbalances and state of ignorance can buy them time to frantically to secure themselves. Yes, that is so true. And it's at our expense. It's all at our expense. The interracial dating, the interracial marriage, the interracial union of creating a child is another venue they use. It's It's always at our expense. Entities without this are the world we currently experience. Entities without the soul to communicate to them, or the connection, are nothing but basically the world as we see it now and we're experiencing it now. It's a lie. It's a horrifying lie. And like I said, the female that was traumatized by her father repeatedly raping her, she ended up having men, well, boys and girls as her eagles, little girls ranging in age. And they all live in her, and they all pop out and talk and have these egos about them, these personalities. So that's the way, you have to think about it. What am I bringing into this world? But another thing I wanted to get on is, what are we allowing them to do to our children and do to ourselves? Because what I went through, I didn't have to go through. What you've gone through, you don't have to go through. It's chemical imbalances that are purposely done to us in our bodies to make us a little bit off. Like growing up, it was very, very hard for me, and I couldn't figure out why. It's all that chemical stuff they put into my body, your body, and all of our bodies. Our children are increasingly having issues, being born with issues, and not even just born with issues, but it's like when a certain age hits, it all comes out. Like when they're younger, they look like normal, happy children. But then when they get a certain age, all of a sudden, okay, they got autism or they got this issue. When we used to see it in the little Caucasian boys, was something where they were just like off in a different world. It wasn't like this emotional roller coaster these children actually are experiencing. It was nothing like that. They was like you couldn't even communicate with them to get them to understand, because they were just off in a different world. It wasn't like, you know what I'm saying? They must have been test subjects at the time. I'm pretty sure that could be what they were. It never fails. Yes, I know. And I hope it does, I really hope it does. It's not going to bother us with the light, the ones who know and are aware of themselves and having the time of our lives and experiencing and being free and being not allowing ourselves to be boxed and not allowing ourselves to be controlled. We know we have the power. We know we have magic. We're using it against who our enemies are. Not necessarily seeing them as enemies, because once we get into the enemy thing, it also weakens our resolve. We don't want to think of them as our enemies, because like I said before, enemy is like admitting to your capability to be defeated. It's time for us to stop thinking or fearing that we can have the possibility of being defeated, when I know for a fact they cannot defeat me, and that they are not on my level. Once we know that they're not on our level, then we know that they cannot be an enemy, because only someone on my level can be my enemy and fight me, and it'll be a fair, equal, a balanced fight. But that's an imbalance. So we have to really wake up to realize how low level these people really are, and then a lot of them fake the funk a lot. Once we use our extraterrestrial abilities, we don't have to. We don't have to be concerned over what they're trying to do or what they want to be, or anything like that, because we just have to know where we stand and understand where we need to be going to. and rising above. Okay. Where did I do it? But like I was saying, that's why, when they talk about us, have you heard about the UFO they spotted in New York? When was this, King Wage? And give me where I can find that information at. I haven't heard about it, but our psychic sensory is getting stronger. It's getting really stronger. But I myself, when was this? Because today I felt them in the air. But we got to realize, for us, they're not UFOs. Okay. 2 to 4 days ago. Yeah, I was definitely feeling something lately. See, I was feeling it. So I didn't know or hear about it, but I've been feeling them tugging on me to be more aware, and it's time to look back in the skies again. Because I kind of slacked it. But I do it because I feel, and you should feel. You should feel an urgency of excitement to what we're going back to. Feel just surge of excitement, love, beauty, peace. Even some of the familiarity or memories of self and others around you at a time, like a memory, and it just flashes where you're at, and it's like space, everything. You just see, you can actually see where you were before with a bunch of people, and how it got interrupted. That time with your crew got interrupted, and you were tugged away from that experience and into this physical experience. But that's what I'm starting to feel it every day. Certain places I go, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm remembering. It's coming back. It's like people, others of us was, we were around each other. We were with each other. And it's like, being, maybe it was right before being born or something, but it was just like like we were in this place of just nothing but just for our energy, for our energy. It was a place of love, peace, and comfort, much comfort. And then we get tugged up from that. And I guess brought into this physical existence. But I have some slight, it comes back every now and then, that memory of that. So, hey, Ask Wiseman. Yeah, look for the link. Hey, Slick 93. Yeah, I'm up all late. I just have the surge. Y'all see, I'm sweating. Because my house, we don't have an AC. So we're working on getting our AC. But it's all good because, I love a sauna. I love saunas. See, some like it hot, some others don't. So, but yeah. So we made war number 1 negative. And it's always going to take away. It's always going to be anything that comes from the minds of the entities that are, because they're not beings of their own. That's the thing. Like we are, they're not beings of their own. They're controlled, they're inhabited, and this inhabitant can come in and out freely, in and out. And the ego is the number one thing. The ego is the number one thing that is the number one thing is the ego. Yeah, Heru said again, yeah, it's like there is some sort of place or a spiritual state of being where all young spirit light beings begins, reside until we actually chose our path. Yeah, yeah, exactly. And the place, it's just the place. Sometimes, I don't know, even here, I roam around, and that's when you know that the spiritual is coming near. You know that it's coming near. The spiritual is physically in our presence, and it's near us. Because the closer it gets to us, I think the more we remember. And it's like it's just like you can't even picture. You just feel it. You just feel it. You feel it. Oh, thank you for the web. Okay, let me see. Yeah, thank you for the web. Let me see if I can write that down. That's why a lot of our experiences on the planet resembles where we come from. Where we come from. Because I always had a bunch of people around me, a bunch of kids my own age around me. That was the weird thing about it, you know. And that's what I remember being around me before we got jerked up, before we got pulled into the physical existence. And sometimes I be thinking that there's something going on the planet as well. Like, do y'all ever think that maybe sometimes in the cars, I be seeing these cars, I be seeing these vehicles, okay, and they look so different, and they be flying down the road, and they make a sound, like a smooth sound, like out of this world sound, and so I'll be like, and then when they drive past you, it's like, wow. I've seen a couple do that. 3, actually. We would never know if they're extraterrestrials, you know? And I already suspected when we was in Washington that those 2 men that were talking were extraterrestrials. Me and another young lady, we could have sworn we heard them talking. The way they were acting was out of this world. We never heard a Black man's voice in that manner, you know? So, and then when I asked the security, he says, yeah, they got a few that talk like that around. So we don't know what's infiltrated the planet at this moment. We don't know. We don't know. We would never know, you know? We would be suspicious, but will we ever know, really, truly think that? Or will it be will we be able to prove that, you know? I don't know. Maybe when the time comes, I don't know. You were Haru Apocalypse. You were in Washington D.C. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. You said you seem to have a memory of being somewhere before you were actually born sometimes. Okay. Yeah, I'm 100% sure that we were, um, that our energy was in a different place before we were actually having nice dreams, peaceful dreams, and then we got drift up, into this, or maybe we were warriors sent here for a purpose, you know, to change, to protect, to change things. As we approach World War III, we'll be seeing more of our ancestral intergalactic family members. Yeah, I like that, King Wage. I like that. I like hearing that. I sure want love that to happen. Really, really. I'm waiting every day to see if they show up for me. I be seeing them. I be seeing them. Maybe not the way I want to see them, because I know that the way I want to see them, it's gonna bring so much. It's really gonna do a change for me. It's really not just a change, but it's gonna do something within me. And I'm ready for all of that, to happen. You know, all that energy, all that memory to be embedded and concrete, and actually able to, you know, the closer, the more stronger, I think. You know, the safest place in existence is either the spiritual realm or the black moon. Yeah, because it's both the same place. It's both the same old place. Yeah. You want them to swoop us up and, yeah, burn the place to crisp. Yes, definitely. Definitely. Yeah, I figure that up in my mind all the time. But I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna really truly, if it'll work out that way. Whatever our minds say will happen, I think. Whatever our minds say will happen. And I do understand that some of our women can be sabotaging, and dangerous. That's only because of the foundation that was knocked up from our women, and all they got to look up to is these Caucasian females. So they have taken on the damage has affected every individual, and in so many different ways. Um, it's amazing. I get blown away at what I find out. I really think that Brittany is sabotaging Darion. And we have to look at this because it has been an influence upon our women to speak in such disrespectful ways, to be this. It's been embedded within us all to be this the worst selves that we could be. Unloving, no love in anything that, and we are loving people. We are very loving people, very, very loving people. But it's been, some, like I said, some of our people's souls will just leave them, and then they have to, get that back, healed, you know. Yeah, the black womb is inner space. That's right. Hmm. Yeah, and this is just some download that they had me, that came through to me, that is very critical in understanding the difference between them and us. Of course, we know we have two heads. We have a sun, a solar system within us, which is our soul. And they only have one head, and they're empty vessels, because if they weren't empty, then they would have a soul, and all our experiences would have been totally different. But I think our whole purpose, our whole reason now is to reconnect. And I think that a large majority of us are doing it out here, are reconnecting with self, and the energy is high for us. Um, I'm really feeling very at peace and at ease with the whole thing of our great awakenings. How do we know when we're getting a download? I tell you, boy, Michael Jackson got many downloads. I was a lot like Michael Jackson. At the same time, I think we were like maybe connected energy or something in Michael Jackson, because his mom said that he would wake up with ideas and that when I was a child, I would wake up in the same years, I would wake up and be so excited and have the music on and just be like, and then I was in a high creative mode, like he was in a high creative mode. So what happens to you is you have to have a pen, you have to have a pen and paper, because you're going to get ideas. That's how you know. That's how you know. You know, when Michael Jackson's mom talked about him, I was like, oh my goodness. You mean that's my connection to Michael Jackson? He bounces up out of the bed and he just always has these good ideas and have things going on that are moving inside of his body, and he's just feeling it. At the time, I was doing that, a lot of that as a child. But what I do is I'm the great procrastinator. I'm the great. I did do some songs when I was a child, and I would and I sent, of all people, I sent one of my songs off to Madonna, and I could swear that one of her songs, when she finally came out with one of her songs, it was so familiar to me. I was like, oh my goodness. Oh, it was like a secret between myself and I. So that, I had sent her that song, and the next thing I know, she's coming up with a song similar or familiar, what she created from what I sent. I'm not saying that she did create from what I sent. I'm saying that possibility was very high, and the song was very familiar. So, yeah, ideas that are pop into the head. Yes, definitely write down. And that's pretty much what I bring to you guys, is I bring the communication that's communicated to me to you all, because, that's what I'm about. I did it on my Facebook, and I do it here. And it's about connecting. It's not like something speaking through me. Nothing's going to speak through me. It's going to speak to me. It's going to communicate, because we're connected. We don't have empty vessels where we have to be possessed and rolling our eyes up and having things speak to us. No, we are it. We are it. And we have so much. Michael Jackson was testimony to that. They gave him downloads, gave him all of that. They gave him himself. He had himself. He could feel the music, but he was all messed up because the outside world was telling him that it's better to be Caucasian, you know. And he saw, he looked, he saw, and he thought in his mind that it was better to be Caucasian, you know. So, yes, very ahead of his time. And all of us have that ability. That's the thing I'm telling you. Like, I'm supposed to be, I should be writing music. I should be writing, right now, not music, but I'm not really wanting to write. I do want to write music. I take that back. I love to. I do it sometimes. But really, I need to be working on this book. I need to be working on this movie script that I haven't done yet. But it's like, it's hard to do it, let me tell you all, because I'm actually living it. And everything that I pre-thought about my story is actually happening. And I'm like feeling a little bit like, oh my God, is this the way my story is supposed to go? You know, it's actually playing out in front of me. So what am I to do, you know? I'm just so much overwhelmed and so much that I can't, you know, I'm living it. We're living it. We are living it. You know, and when you live in yours, well, it could have been just the psyche, you know, the psychic part, that path, that I know these things ahead of time as we're going along. And maybe I do need to just write them down. I am writing, but I need to put them in the storyline, you know. And it's very, very tough, you know, when you're living and experiencing and don't know, you know, you're just living and experiencing it. But like I said earlier, I got to remind myself that no fear, no concern for what they do, you know. Just our perfect peace in knowing that we have the power, we have control. It's amazing. It's very, very amazing, family. And we need to stop allowing these spells, these words, you know, these spells to overtake us. And we need to overtake them, the words, the spells, and turn them around, return it around, you know. Like they say, take back our stories and narrate them ourselves. You know, that's in a way is magic. You know? So I won't hold y'all too long because I'm gonna go take me a cold shower and get in the bed. I can't believe it's witching hours now. It's witching hours. One day we're gonna all have to get together and do a ritual. We're gonna have to do a ritual. Our own little ritual. And maybe we can do the ritual to where we summon the what they call UFO, unidentified flying object, to appear over Virginia and Washington, Virginia and Maryland, and the whole area, you know, this two whole areas. So, family, with that said, true love, real peace in the higher self within the soul. My skin is shiny. Yeah, it's shiny because I'm sweating so much. I'm so sweaty. Yeah. It's weird because I went to this female's house today. She opened the door and she was like this. And I'm like, I'm not bright sun. I'm not. She was like, eyes was like that. And when she opened the door, I'm like, whoa. I'm like, I'm not the bright sun. Yeah, I'm gonna get in some cold water and go down here and get under the fan. That's what I'm going to do with some cold water. So, family, with that said, I'm glad y'all were able to come on, show up. I know it's a different time. And I got to, yeah, it's a different time than usual. But this is a perfect time for a ritual. And we must start doing some together. So, and then, I might have to plan one for around 3 o'clock in the morning. Because also, let me tell y'all something. I was born 3 o'clock in the morning, and I wonder how many other people were born 3 o'clock in the morning. I wonder if that plays a part in us being so aware. Hey, Vibrational. How can we protect ourselves from 5G? Crystals, quartz crystal. Yep, the quartz crystal. I'm going to get me a huge one. And also the little pyramid ones, those can suck up the 5G for you. And purifies your house. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of different things that can protect us from the 5G. Most of all is let's make this happen before they roll out the 5G in every household. Let's prevent it from happening. Let's prevent it from happening. That's our superhero assignment. Okay, y'all? So when we get out of being the mortal men and women, and we put on our immortal combat gear, let's work on that assignment. Before, I think, 2045 or 2020, we won't let that time even for them come. 2020, 2021, we won't let that get that far. So peace and light, peace and love all, and until next time. Let me do some shout outs. Thank you, Haru Apocalypse, for coming out and showing out and participating. King Wage in the house. Thank you, King Wage. S. Wiseman, thank you. Vibrational Zero Calvin, thank you. Peace and love to all of you. Till next time, signing out.